Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Crypto Scene Investigation, where we look at various cryptocurrency projects and we have a look at some nifty, sweet little analytics, and then we ask ourselves, should we invest in it? Is it safe to invest in? And what are potentially some good sides or bad sides about investing in this jazz? If you guys do like what I do on this channel, please consider liking and subscribing. And if you do wish to comment, please have a nice and delicious read of that thing down the bottom there in the grey box, and we can get started. Today we're looking at Bnbhunter, aka BHT. Alright, so let's find out some basic stats. It says that the market cap is about 190,000. Keep in mind, anything which is under generally $100 million in market cap is gonna be risky. So the fact that this is 10 times or 100 times, I think that's 100 times lower, 100 times lower in market cap, makes this like risky's miggy. It says that its current rank is 7,000, which is fair enough, but this market cap also says that it has not been verified / confirmed. And if we have a look at this, what actually happened with the price. So it's quite interesting how we have a comment, very cool project which I support, BHT, fabulous. That was from the 30th of January. So it says that Dex Tools gives it a warning. I don't really trust Dex Tools, to be honest, because I have seen them talk about other things. And yeah, like I feel like Dex Tools isn't really reliable as a main source in terms of warnings. But yeah, if anybody has any sort of thing which they have to dispute what I just said, please feel free to comment that regarding Dex Tools, because maybe I just don't know enough about it. So as we can see, when they sort of first had their proper release, I do believe that in one of these other tabs, I tried to see if I could find the IDO price, but I couldn't find it. So it went all the way up to 0.03, and then they had this massive dip. So apparently this was actually caused by a hack, which we can have a look at as well. But we'll look at a few other things before we do that. So essentially, these guys have been trying to make this this game called Bnbhunter. They possibly do have a little bit of an example of some maybe slight gameplay, which is cool. And all, I mean, it's kind of just moving pictures and stuff, but I mean, so are a bunch of other games on the Android store, so I mean, who's to say that this one's bad, right? So it is currently only available on pancakeswap, which doesn't necessarily make it bad, but it could be a potential cause for concern. So this fellow here, so this is actually a pretty cool video, but this guy Reese, he's actually the CEO and the co-founder, if I am correct about that, jazz. We'll quickly jump to the About Us. Reese, yes, so he's the CEO and the co-founder. So it's cool that we actually do have a face which we can actually put to this. But yes, there are some other things which can come up, which may not be that helpful in terms of this project, but we'll continue looking at some of the other features. So this is their medium. So as you can see, they haven't been posting much weekly reports because their last weekly report was from January 2021. However, during this report, this is what they said. They said that they had launched a referral. Well, I'm just going to read this. This week, Bnbhunter announced the launch of a referral system within 2 weeks to initiate a buyback destruction program for a combined total of nearly 300 BNB. With over 370 million BHT currently burned. In the desert moment, now I'm not sure why they call it desert moment. In the desert moment, we had a hack where the price dropped rapidly, hence the higher price of the mystery box. A user bought a box to avoid the hacker from cheating. We rewarded him directly with 2 BNB. We hope more community members will make positive contributions to the Bnbhunter, Bnbhunter. I feel like you pronounce that as Hooter. Because Hutter would be 2 T's, community, while we reward them with practical actions. Yeah, so, and they rewarded 1 NFT to all the users who bought BHT on the 14th to thank these players for their support. Keep in mind that this massive dip, according to my stats, happened on like so it happened sort of between 13 to 14. I did actually print out I did actually have a look on the Binance smartchain, and I believe that all these sort of things happened on the 13th, from my understanding. 13th/12th was the sort of biggest transactions made within these guys. They also have interviews, which none of this from what I have seen actually has to do with Bnbhunter at all, so that's a bit strange. Their Telegram group, by the way, very big. Once again, your boy is still banned from Telegram. Somebody give me a phone number. So yeah, I do a video about that, and I can link that up the top right if you want to have a watch about that, because your boy is still a salty young man about that jazz. Yeah. So, but they've got 35,000 members on Telegram, which is pretty impressive. But yeah, I think that the fact that they haven't updated their weekly report is pretty concerning. But yes, we will look at some other stats anyhow. So this is what their Bnbhunter token looks like, according to BSC scan. It looks pretty cool. But I found out what it was called, by the way. It is called Damocles sword. Crud, I got it slightly wrong. It is the sword of Damocles, not Damocles sword. Sorry guys. So sword of Damocles is yes, so the sort of thing which is hanging over your head. So yeah, 14% is quite high, but otherwise we do have a bunch of other sort of smart contracts, which is really awesome. So that is pretty fine. And there is another wallet which does hold 4.9%, which is still pretty hefty. But the others, as we can see, so I believe that is a part of the liquidity which is available on pancakeswap. And this right here, not sure what that would be for, but keep in mind, because these are smart contracts, then we should be pretty safe with them from what I am thinking. But that does also possibly depend on what's actually written in those smart contracts, of course. So let's have a look at what bscheck says. So they have a buy and a sell tax of 8%, which we can have a look at this. So the 8% transaction tax will be charged for buying and selling BHT on in pancakeswap, of which 3% will be automatically added to the LP, and 5% will be used for development and marketing. So one thing which I do want to mention, and this is something for why possibly these guys didn't intend to go any higher than something like pancakeswap, is because if, let's say, they wanted to try to apply for Binance, which is something which I have heard, is that if you need to apply for Binance, you can't apply with a coin or a token which has a tax amount. So that's very fascinating. Don't know if they've actually changed their rules regarding that. If anybody knows, do share. But that is what I last heard, and that was pretty recent, which I heard that from. So very fascinating. All right. So token owner 14%. So that is actually the token owner's wallet right there. This jazz right there. Whew. Dev token. So it says 17.55%. Although these here are contracts. But that is still a bit hefty, and we can see that we have 91% of the liquidity liquidity is locked in a Unicrypt locker, and another one also looks like it is locked via a smart contract. I'm assuming that's a smart contract, but we'll see if we can briefly check it. Yes, cool. So that's actually locked into a contract, and then as we can see, we have other sort of tokens. Token supply, and then that doesn't say it is a dev wallet, but it does say that this is the dev address, which is the 14%. So generally, and I believe that tokensniffer does mention this as well, you generally don't want anybody or any one wallet to contain more than 5% of the supply, because if they sell, then the token becomes even worth even less than what it actually was. So if these guys have stopped working on this project, I am a bit surprised as to why they still have the 14% sitting there. But they do still have a community, of course. I mean, they've got like Reddit, Twitter, they've got Telegram, they've got Discord, and I did ask on their Discord, like, so what caused the hack? But yeah, I didn't get an answer. So arrest and pepperonis. Yeah. So anyway, moving on. So let's jump to Tokensniffer, see what we can find here. So I mentioned the same things regarding the 8%. Oh, I forgot to mention. So this report was generated on the 8th, and so today, currently my time, says that we're on the 9th. Cool. But when I upload it, it might not be the 9th anymore. So it says, so no similar token contracts. Very impressive. Verified contract source, and cool. So we don't even have a list down here, which is good. And source does not contain a pausable contract. So essentially, a pausable contract means that they can halt any sort of transactions going in/out. So it does have a pausable contract, which is a cause for concern. But once again, if they do have a pausable contract, one thing which is surprising is why they haven't implemented it yet. So, because I haven't personally seen or heard of any sort of pause which these guys have done so far. So that is a bit interesting that they do, it does have a pausable contract, which we can actually see as well. But we won't look at that jazz. So holder analysis, liquidity. So if we actually have a look on kucoin, we can see that the liquidity is currently $46,000 worth, or 117 BNB on pancakeswap there, and we will also have $41 in USDT on pancakeswap if you wanted to do that as well. And that is a reverse stairway to heaven. Yeah, and then so it's interesting how this is 95%, but keep in mind that it only says 90%, and I believe that a part of that reason is because it doesn't take into account this extra lock right here. So keep that in mind, is that tokensniffer doesn't read those as of yet. I do wonder when it's going to be implemented. Great news, by the way, if you guys don't know already. Because I don't think I told any of you guys, but my boy Tokensniffer is now going to be one of my guys on Discord. Because, yep, regarding the Telegram incident. So let's have a look at what Moonarch says as well. So we can have a look at the general pie chart. It says that the token age is 2 months old, but keep in mind, according to the Twitter stats, the user was created on March 23rd, 2020. But one of their most popular posts was from December, which is a lot more than 2 months ago. And they have actually released some other contracts before this. These other contracts, however, these were, I want to say they were sort of like fake contracts, but I don't want to say fake. They sort of seem more like test contracts when I did have a look at them. Because they didn't really have too many things on there. Yeah, so owner and creator, same person. Liquidity, as we can see, 46,000. Owner 14%, unlocked is 45%, so you can still buy a decent amount of the unlocked if you wish. And the liquidity is 39%, which is one of the largest liquidity pools that I've actually seen in a project. But keep in mind that because it's got such a small market cap, it's not too surprising that we have such a high liquidity pool. And so of that liquidity pool, once again, 91% is locked, and then 8.5% is unlocked. But I don't think, going back to this, I don't think that is taking into account this one here, okay? So I feel like in this case, I'd possibly trust bscheck over the other two, but could be wrong. So let's have a look at what it says down here in terms of what sort of things could be used. So check usage. So the only real ones which are sort of kind of concerning-ish. So I try to actually look in the actual contract code for this function here, the bht token ._mint, and I couldn't find it. I tried to, I tried to control F in this bad boy, but the only one which I could actually find when we actually, oops, it is, yeah, control V, when we do it here, is there's only this one right here, and it does lead to an address, but I don't think that this has anything to do with what we actually want to see. So it's a little bit strange, to be honest, the fact that it's sort of pointing that out. And as I say, when I just looked at that contract, I couldn't find anything specifically related to that. But yeah, so it's a bit funky in my point of view. So once again, this does also mention about the whole pausable contract thing. So they have a unpause and pause function. Remove burn contract. Okay, so add burn contracts. Okay, interesting. Remove whitelist, add whitelist. Okay, cool. And we also can see that on Unicrypt that it would be locked up for 295 days. So this is the confirmed liquidity lock on Unicrypt. So it definitely feels to me that these guys had longer term intentions, even though it doesn't seem to have played out that much. So in terms of followers, they've lost 6,000 followers over the last 30 days, which sort of makes sense, to be honest, because I mean, when you sort of look at a price chart which looks like that, it just doesn't look very good. But I wish that like maybe they sort of like found a way to identify the hack better, or they wrote about the hack better, maybe like explaining to users, hey, so this hack happened, however, this is what we are doing to resolve this. But I mean, when you go all the way from like 0.02 down to 0.000, I think that's 3, and then back up to 00, I mean, like 00 would be like a 10x drop, right? So that's a 10x from where you once were at like 0.01, and then if you were sort of down here, then that would have been then you would have been chilling at the quadruple zero at one point. I mean, yeah, it's just is that an 1,000x drop? I don't think that's 1,000, or is that 100? Don't know. But we'll move on. So yeah, that's just, as I was saying, it would be a lot nicer if we could see maybe some better possible documentation in regards to maybe finding out how the hack happened, why it happened. Because when I looked at it, it looked a bit like a flash loan hack, but I don't think so. Because from what they said, it seems to not be that. So 20,000 followers, impressive. Now here's something which was also a bit interesting. So I tried to see through some of their things, see if we could see any sort of bot comments. Those are pretty alright. The Bnbhunter team scammed me twice. Stay away from them. I wonder how they scammed them twice. So I tried to click on comments, but I can't see the comments. So I'm sort of like, where are the comments? I'm not very familiar with Twitter, so maybe I'm just being weird. Anyway, another one, scammers, don't believe them, would you contact me, collaboration, or that sort of jazz. Nice, good project, to the moon, very good. And this was posted on February 10th, which interestingly enough, February 10th was right here. To the moon, folks. Alright, and then nice guys always finish last. Never forget. And a few other sort of spammy-ish things. And then cool. But here's one thing which I do want to have a look at though. And this is this post. Now, this thing right here does make me think that they hired some sort of bot accounts regarding this, okay? So have a look at some of these comments. Have a look at all of them. Do you notice any similarities? Do you notice any similarities with all this jazz? Any similarities? Of course you do. You see a whole bunch of tags, right? You see a whole bunch of things. Now, that doesn't mean that that's, necessarily a bad thing, but usually people only really do that if they can get some sort of extra benefit from this, right? But with this sort of post, there is nothing. There's like nobody being able to tag their friends or anything like that. So it begs the question, why are so many people tagging all these different people? But then you have, oh no, the double M picture. Dasma double M. Crypto, I'm not, okay. QQ stars. And then you have a whole bunch of others, and interestingly enough, they're also doing a whole bunch of tags as well. Nice, go, good project. So all these people are sort of saying all of these things, right? And most of these are sort of done over like a few days, and some of them would have actually been done in January as well, or sort of in more recent times potentially, like that one guy who said that he lost $1,500, which is a darn shame, dude. So yeah, so I think that in regards to this, it definitely feels like they possibly paid for some bot comments with this sort of jazz. It doesn't look natural and very authentic. Especially when we have a look on what Moonarch says, that the token age is only 2 months old. Why would people be getting so hyped about it if it's not actually even properly like made or like released or whatever. It's a bit concerning, but anyway, let's move on. So in terms of Google Trends, I'm not going to go heavily in this, but I'm just going to leave Google Trends, to be honest. So roadmap. So they actually did have a pretty nice / decent-ish looking roadmap. They had a scholarship program, cool, or they were going to. So this would have been the roadmap for 2022. They do actually have this on their website as well. Which might look a little bit nicer on their website, but we'll go through their website a little bit later. So yeah, it looks like they were definitely wanting to do some cool things with it. And one thing, so it says that they wanted a decentralized governance module, which actually, if we go all the way down here, so one of their partners was XDAO, and where you can actually create your own DAO with XDAO. Yeah, so that's quite fascinating, that they had a sort of a partnership there. And then there was a few other things which, yeah, you guys can sort of pause and read through that jazz regarding that roadmap. So this was the proportion of what was actually released. And this is another reason why, to me, it doesn't really feel like much of an inside job, because of this jazz. So they actually went through properly and actually talked about some of the actual vesting, which I believe is why they had all these sort of smart contracts all around the place, is that likely would have actually come under these sort of various vesting schedules, these linear schedules over like the next 20 months, 6 months, 4 months, 19 months. And then also how much would have been released at the TGE, the token generation event. I think that's what that stands for. And yeah, we can have a look at a bit of a chart as well. So now we can go to the actual main website. And so you can find the video there. NFTs here. Hey, they move. Nifty. So the about us. We'll go through this afterwards. We'll go through that because usually we do that at the end. So backed by. So there's some of the things which I said they're backed by. I don't know any of these guys. Might know the block. But this talks about their tokenomics here. So as you can see, most of it would be designed to reward players in the game for mining. And then they had the seed sale, the private equity investment. I think that's what PE stands for. IDO, add to LP, team, marketing advisor, and all that sort of jazz. So yeah, it doesn't look like these sort of top guys have. It doesn't look like they hold a giant chunk, and generally when we look at a project, we don't want them to be holding the team to be holding any more than 30%. So the fact that we can see this, to me, is a pretty good sign. This is the much nicer looking roadmap, which you guys can have a look at as well, but it only shows up to Q2 of 2022. And we have been featured in various publications, although when you click on them it doesn't do anything, but it looks like you could click on them. Find us on, you can this doesn't link anywhere, it just goes to their game. Wait, just go straight back to the website. What the heck? Yeah. So anyway, let's go to the team now and let's actually have a look at them. So Reese, the fellow who founded it, what sort of experience does he have? We don't know. This YouTube channel literally just links to the YouTube channel of Bnbhunter. So I don't know what sort of background he has. Don't know anything about him. Chief Advisor, Rochelle Young. I did reverse image search a bunch of these peeps. And I believe that all of them are legit, as far as I'm aware. But we'll look a bit deeper into that jazz as well. Oh, she has Twitter. Cool. Senior account management at Hinsun. So she doesn't list anything as far as I know in relation to Bnbhunter, although she is a chief advisor. Yeah, didn't look up that person. So a bunch of these don't actually have LinkedIns, although the last three people do: Anthony, Louise, and Maya. So we will look at their LinkedIns, but we'll sort of. It would be nice if we could have a bit of a better docs team, to be honest, especially when you are investing anything which is a token. You definitely want to see the experience of people, and you want to know that like these people are actually like who they say they are. So that they have connections, that they have like that they aren't just like that sort of jazz. So looking at their their LinkedIn. So it's interesting. So we can only see that Louise, although she's got over 500 connections, it says that she's only been a software developer with Bnbhunter, but she was also a full stack developer at Amway. Now Amway, I believe, is a network marketing company, unless I'm thinking something else. But yeah, so it's kind of annoying that we don't see anything else other than that. She says that she's a software developer here, but doesn't say anything else. So it's a bit concerning. And I was going to say Anthony Hopkins, but this is Hopkins Anthony. Also, similar thing, only shows Bnbhunter, CMO, and has only got one follower, and we don't know how many connections he has, if any. Yeah, so that's pretty annoying. So we'll move on from that jazz as well. And the last one, Maya. This is where it takes me to. Yep. So Maya Sofiana, software developer, the senior programmer in Shapey, and we don't have anything regarding that neither. So here is my thoughts, guys, and this is my sort of final jazz with this. I think here is some good things. First of all, when we can see these various sort of token metrics or these token analytics, it doesn't look like, or from my point of view, it doesn't look like they can properly rug pull, except they can possibly rug pull due to this pausable contract. But other than that, there's like, they don't have any like limiting transaction fees. They don't have the ability to just keep on minting tokens indefinitely, or be able to increase the total supply, for instance. So that's some pretty cool jazz from what I have seen. And yeah, so, but I think the fact that there is this probably a lot of reasons to not invest. I think that here is probably everything summed up in one sentence. They don't look like they are currently working on this. So because they don't look like they're currently working on this, it looks like a dead project. That's pretty much all you really need to know. Yeah. So it looks like a dead project, and it's a shame really, because it seemed pretty nifty, to be honest. Other than this sort of Damocles right here. Yeah. But I won't go over the extra details of why I think that, but yes, once again, check that little bad boy down there. Also, go to Patreon if you guys want to support me as a backer, supporter, or an advocate. And once again, if you do wish to comment, or if you wouldn't mind liking and subscribing, then that would be fabulous as well. Yeah, so hopefully this video has been helpful for you. Maybe you've learned something from it, maybe you didn't like it, but if you liked it, comment. If you don't like it, tell me where I'm wrong. But yeah, be kind, helpful, beneficial, and let's have a great community together. Much love, guys. Fare thee well.